Now looking back, I consider it to be a big blessing how I was raised. I went to private school and church and just like had a family that loved me, and even my extended family was pretty close and really didn't have a lot of hardship or anything growing up.
I'd say our kids' hearts were tender towards things of God from a very young age. Each one of them will, in their own way, put faith in Jesus at very young, and we're very open and tender about things of God.
Since I can remember, so probably about like 5 or 6, I become a Christian, and that was kind of just like a part of my life, going to church, and it's just a normal thing. Grade 9, I think one of the hard things was growing up, going to private school, like a Christian school, and then church and Christian camps, and my family being Christian. I went to a public school, and my first year I did okay, but it was also just really like challenging because I think I was very sheltered. Part of it was probably just being lonely and just feeling, because most of the time when you share with people like, oh, I went to a Christian school or I'm Christian, they really don't understand like what that means, and so there's like this disconnect. It was kind of near the end of grade 9, and I knew my brothers were already not following the Lord and just doing whatever. I guess I just felt like left out most of the time. Like they have this life that I know that they're not following Jesus, but they're not really telling me what they're doing.
It all happened so fast. They got in with friends that were not, friends we were really thankful for on many levels. They just started getting into partying, seeing and everything. And it felt like it happened overnight. And then when our daughter, when we found out that she had drugs on her and what have you, it totally rocked our world. All 3 of our kids, like rebelling, running from God. It was just, yeah, that was a horrific time.
Started with alcohol, I think was the first substance I tried, and then marijuana, and then cigarettes, and that was really the majority of it, like for a while. Later on, I got into other substances like cocaine and MDMA and just different like experimental drugs and stuff. And that was probably maybe after 3 years of already like smoking weed every day and doing all that. And then I started, I think, in my faith, thinking about like, does it even matter? Like if I sin, I believe that Jesus like died for me. I believe that I'm forgiven of my sins and I'm going to heaven. So what's the point of like being left out and being alone? Like, does it even matter? Like, I'll just do this here and there, and how bad can it be?
She saw her brothers, out doing this stuff and thought, well, she was kind of sick of being the good girl and thought, why not me? And, really just chose to rebel and was having fun.
They found out about me later. They knew about my brothers for a long time, and it was kind of like, oh, Justin and Curtis, but like Shannon is still really good. She's like the little angel one. But really I wasn't. Like I was already experimenting with different things, and they didn't know about that. So when they found out, I think my mom was just like heartbroken because she thought like, oh, I thought that my daughter was the one that would remain.
I can think of one moment when we led worship at our church, and you basically had to phone and say, I can't go, can't go this, and it was just this heaviness.
I could not get out of bed.
She couldn't even get out of bed. I remember coming in the door, and she had just discovered drugs on Shannon, and really in the fetal position on the floor, because it was just
I just felt it was too much to bear. Like the boys were already involved, and now to think my daughter would also choose it, I just really crumbled.
For really 8 years, they didn't really know anything about my life. Like I would say, I'm going here, but really I was going like everywhere else. But I would just tell them, I'm going to Dana's, I'm going to my friends. And that's all they needed to know. And that's all they did know about my life for about 8 years. Honestly, I don't know if I ever came to think I've got to change. I think that it was a process for me. I had an encounter with God where he spoke through people that I'd never met before, and just them giving me like prophetic words, and this really intense experience. And I always thought that God was just like up here and we were down here and we do our thing. And that's kind of what led me to be like, well, I can sin, like he's not really involved. And when I had this encounter with him, it was very clear to me that like he is involved, and like he's powerful, and he wants to be a part of my life. And he actually loves me so much that he would send his servants and like speak through his servants to me personally and come after me in that way. So that was really, although that was really like profound. And actually after that, like I began going to church occasionally, and I think my demeanor changed, but I still wasn't ready to like give up my lifestyle. It was actually not until I was willing to confess my sin and surrender my life to him. And I think the only reason I did that was because of his work in my heart through these years and years of like process, until I got to a point where I was actually like humble before him. And I see that even now, like it didn't just like, I didn't just, surrender my life to him and then never struggle again.
It wasn't like this one day she was this and the next day she was, changed. It was a slower transition, but we saw the softening of her heart, and she started to reconnect in community.
I compared myself to like my brothers for so long. That was, I think, a really big thing of just like, they're gonna do amazing things for the kingdom. And like my mom is like a preacher and she's gonna do amazing things. And I think just realizing like, it was all available to me as well, like the whole time. And so the minute I said yes, just like this new identity, and realizing like everyone, like he wants to use like everyone, he loves everyone like equally, and they're not more special than me in that sense, and they're not, like if anyone surrendered to God is so powerful. Realizing that, I think, was really freeing for me, that I'm just called to like love people, and he's done so much more with my life now, at 5 years of following him, I think, than I could have ever imagined.